So welcome to another episode of Yeah, with Lisa, Phil, and Aaron. And today we're talking to Pete Alcide, who is a filmmaker, documentarian. I saw that you were doing some web series. You had quite a bit of different projects that you have worked on, probably over the last decade, it looked like.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But the movie that we watched recently that we were quite moved by was Lupeo, about the 2010 Haiti earthquake, the devastating earthquake.
The 7.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, magnitude, yeah.
I found the premise very interesting, doing it from the viewpoint of the people that weren't there.
Yeah.
I found it both moving and yet at a bit of a remove, so that it was less I mean, towards the end, of course, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
When the man discovered his daughter, and then, the significant number of people lost, it's devastating.
Right. Yeah. So welcome, Pete.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
There is one thing that's a little bit humorous that I hesitate to bring up based on the subject matter, but that's what we do. We squirrel and we bring up kind of funny little asides. And that is, when we were watching the movie, we got to the scene where the people were in the office. And it was in French. So we dutifully turned on our captions.
Yeah.
And it very quickly identified it as foreign language.
Some people did have
foreign language the whole time.
It's like, we don't know.
So we have no idea
either.
what they were saying in that office, but it was,
Too bad they had no way of finding out, huh?
Yeah. For some people were having issues with it. It depends on where they watch it, because it's on Amazon. It's also on Vimeo. But so I get feedback from different people saying, some people said they couldn't. It said foreign language and they couldn't see anything, and others, were able to play it. But I can definitely help you out if it's something that you want to, you're interested in getting to know as far as what they were talking about.
We probably will follow up. Philip wants to watch it again, so we'll try a different vendor. But it was just funny. We just searched for it on our Fire TV, and it came up no problem.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if maybe we can find it on another source, because we do have Amazon Prime. We've got Hulu. We've got Freevee. All the ticks.
Yeah.
All services.
Mm-hmm.
So that begs the question.
Cheaper than cable.
That begs the question. I wasn't clear what country they were in that the family was living in. The
family we were observing?
Family.
Yeah.
All right. The family that was not in Haiti, right? They're in the U.S. They actually.
I thought so.
Florida.
Okay.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. So, I thought that the subtitles aside, I thought that the dialogue and everything was really good. The drama, it was kind of a cascading sequence of kind of heart-wrenching moments. Just the anxiety of not knowing what was going on when the wife's sister went back to Haiti. Yeah. And, they had their lives going on, and their children actually brought it to their attention. They were watching the news,
right?
And interrupted their dinner, and they almost were just dismissive of them. It was so far removed from what anything they had on their mind.
Yeah.
And then this terrible, event happened. It must have been pretty realistic of a lot of people's experience.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it is very frame by frame for the most part. It is based on exactly what happened. Because what happened is my family. This is exactly how we reacted watching my parents squirrel with each other and how they had to deal with this whole thing because they didn't expect it. They allow the kids to go watch TV, but not expecting what was going to happen. And then when of course, the kids always have something exciting, something fun they think they want to share with their parents, but parents are still eating, they're still doing their thing. But but when they realize, okay, they're too persistent for it not to be something important or something crazy. So let me go check. And the mom, of course, she went to check, and it's very much exactly kind of how it happened. So I wanted to give from that perspective instead of from what everybody saw on the news. So to give the world, a different view of from inside the family, how they dealt with all that. Because from what people understand is, okay, yeah, all the people down there suffered, and a lot of them, passed, and it was just chaotic. And that's just what we saw in the news. But how those who stayed behind, both that were in Haiti and outside of Haiti, how did they deal with all that? And that's what really that's what I wanted to capture, just to show a different side, just so that they can see, okay, yeah, we know what happened already. We all watch CNN and all the news channels and what the buildings who fell and how many people died and this and that. And what one of the things I enjoyed doing was the interview that we did, you watched at the end, just to give people a different, some like those who survived it directly, not just actors, but those who survived it, how they dealt with, how they were going about it. Some of them, like you can see, they were ready to give up. Others, they just didn't know what to do. It was just one of those experiences that they didn't expect it, but they survived it, and they just thank God for it.
Oh, the gentleman who found his daughter in the rubble, when they called and asked him to go check on the family, I think maybe he kind of needed that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because sitting there with his
purpose.
Exactly with his daughter's corpse was just not gonna help. And truth be told, after he did all that, he went back, stayed with the kid. But by the time he got back, there were getting people out of the rubble, so he was able to get his kid out of there and get, I wouldn't say proper funeral, but a proper burial for her, as opposed to some other people that didn't find for days. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things. I mean, even when we went down there, we even spoke to him, trying to, still understand, some of the feelings without having to make him go through the painful memories. But he was more than happy to talk about it and that's one of the things to a lot of people down there needed after, some type of therapeutic, experience to help them through the process, talk it out, see
so much trauma.
Oh, a whole lot. And that's one of those things that sort of helped some of them when we're, shooting the film. It sort of helped some of them just sit there and talk. And we just did as much as we can as far as, talking to them and trying to get them to, sort of create some type of a way to move on and forward, because most of them weren't ready to move forward yet, so.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those memories that just had to go over and over in their mind, and they just wanted to know when is it going to end. So.
Right.
So, speaking of that, what are conditions like in Haiti today? Is it all rebuilt?
I wish I could say yes to that, but no. See, the thing is, a lot of the money they say they collected for Haiti, the people in Haiti who needed it the most never got it.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, when I was there, it was almost 10 years after, and we're able to find places to film without having to build a set. All these things were actual real places that were still down. So a lot of these people who really needed the money, really needed the help, didn't get it. They were still living either in the building that still fall down, or they were just living on the street in tents. Unfortunately, Haiti, yeah. It's one of those things.
Decades later.
Yeah, I'm still trying to see if I can do something. Especially that's why I want this movie to go as far as possible, because I try to do different things to allow me to create some type of charity, to go down there myself and help build some houses, as opposed
create
to
awareness.
send the money. Like, because you send the money, the authorities get it, and sometimes barely any Haitians get it. As you know, they're occupied by some UN officers and things like that. So things aren't really in the best condition right now.
Yeah. Where should money be sent to?
Honestly, I would send it to a direct charity. If you link up to a direct charity who is actually doing stuff for the community, they will do something. They might not be able to do it for the whole city, for the whole town, unfortunately, but they'll do for as many people as possible. But if you just send it to the government, it's a waste of money.
Yeah. Oh, hell no.
It's like Matthew Ministries here, or Matthew.
Matthew Ministries is nationwide. It's not just Cincinnati.
I've never heard of it.
My understanding is that they actually do good work. They show up.
Right,
and anybody can volunteer for Matthew Ministries, give them stuff. I know that we gave quite a bit of, when Matthew Ministries was going, we gave them money and clothing.
Let's get that name right. I think it's Matthew 25 Ministries.
Okay.
Blue Ash.
Yeah.
They do deploy individuals. You know, I believe, I remember them probably deploying people to Haiti after that.
Yeah,
and
they did.
You know, they after Katrina,
right,
natural disasters like that,
and they would take water and set up grills to feed people, and clothing. And I don't know how much of a presence they could have been in Haiti with it being off American soil. Plus, didn't Haiti have some travel restrictions initially?
Yes, they did. They did have some restrictions. I think it was when the cholera was popular down there. That was they had the restrictions because they didn't want any contaminations to cross the border. But the thing is, going to Haiti is easy. It's just coming from Haiti. That's the part that's not easy when somebody is down. Because several people would be done with school, they would need a job, they can't find a job, they try to travel. You know, very few countries they can actually go to that actually accepts them. But there are a few countries in Europe that would give Haitians visa because they speak the same language and their education basically is as valid from there. But travel restrictions was put into place for a little bit. But
the concerns are disease?
Some of them, yeah. Yes, unfortunately, yeah, that's it. But
disease coming from Haiti or going to Haiti?
Coming from, if they're not allowed to go to other countries, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's called a physical.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you would think, right, if you do a physical and the person is fine, they would let them come. But there are so many things in place, it's a little tough to get through, to even get to the physical part. Because once they hear something is going viral, it's like when the pandemic was here, they assume that everybody who lives in a certain area has it. So if you try to cross the line for a different state, they had some issues with it. Things like, because I had a lot of my families still in New York, and when they were coming to travel, sometimes, especially by plane, there were a lot of restrictions when it came to the pandemic. So yeah, same thing should happen.
Well, I mean, yeah.
HIV problems back in the day too, I remember, was rampant there.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Honestly, it was never a big thing in Haiti. I mean, you know, some people died from AIDS, but
right.
Oh,
I think
that started travel restrictions, though, right?
Yeah, it started a lot of travel restrictions because just assume. Because some people, even when I came here, they're like, "You don't have AIDS, do you?"
Yeah, it got quite a stigma from that.
Yeah, it wasn't as popular as some people make it out to be, you know, in Haiti itself. But you know, we're all aware of it, and it was going around the world. People were just dying of AIDS because it was.
Well, and I mean, it's still rampant in parts of Africa. HIV, it's still rampant in parts of Africa.
It is, and that's that's some of the issues. Sometimes instead of lending a hand, people just okay, you know what, let's just keep these guys out of here, and then let them. But
Yeah,
there are
that's
areas
sad.
where it's more popular than other places, and it can be it can be pretty crazy. It's just sometimes we just have to follow some of the health restrictions and and see
Right.
stay away from
I mean, a lot of it's education.
exactly.
I mean, you alluded to the fact that it was somewhat autobiographical, or it was similar to experience that you had. So you did have relatives in Tahiti and
Haiti.
I'm sorry, Haiti, and you were concerned about, on pins and needles, I guess, wondering what happened, or trying to get news, and that, there was no news coming out other than these big news outlets.
Yeah.
No phone calls or anything. So it really hit the home. I mean, you had I don't want to bring up bad memories or anything, but I mean, you had.
It's fine. I mean, at this point, I mean, but no, it's yeah. I do have family members, some who didn't survive it, and some who sort of. I mean, I have cousins. Actually, they were actually on the tape too that talked about how they had just walked out of the building and the building just fell, and they're like, well, they just froze. They just didn't know what to do, and they
Right.
sort of ran. But you don't know where to run when all the buildings are falling in front of you. It's kind of like one of those crazy movies when the ground is falling and you have it's falling apart and you have no idea.
And you're running, but the ground is falling apart right behind you.
Exactly. Yeah. So some of them survived and some of them didn't. Some of them actually we still never found. But it's one of those things. It's just honestly, if they started rebuilding, a lot of people would have been found because a lot of people they just were in their houses. And there are people who were dealing with, for example, there's this family who we spoke to, and the guy didn't want to have an interview because he was too ashamed. So what happens is he was inside his house with his wife and kids. When he heard the noise, he ran outside, and then the house fell. So being the survivor's guilt, he's just been dealing with that, and even attempted suicide a couple of times, just didn't, wasn't successful because he's just too ashamed of himself because he felt like he should have been able to save his family. When in reality, it's really not his fault. There's a noise. The men of the house run outside to go check, but didn't realize what was really happening, and then the house just fell with the rest of the family.
Right. I mean, that's normal. The normal thing for him to do is to go outside and find out what's going on and defend his family. So he was defending. He wasn't escaping without them.
No, because he was right in front of the house when he walked out, and it fell right behind him, and he just
It's a
fell
lot to carry with you.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is.
Well, some of the stats that I see. Okay, so this was the 8.8 magnitude earthquake, right?
This was a 7.0.
7.0.
7.0. Okay.
The 8.8 was later.
Okay.
Haiti has not had a good couple of a good 15 years.
Yeah.
But a contributing factor to it was the building codes, being kind of antiquated. Back, the buildings were more prone to collapse under that type of duress.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, Haiti is built because of the way where Haiti is situated. They have to build differently. For example, they have to have all bricks versus in America, where most of the houses really made out of wood and supported by some bricks. As opposed to in Haiti, because of the hurricane, because of where we are near the water, hurricane and like all these tornadoes and all that stuff, they tend to hit us really hard. So if the houses are not made in bricks to actually sustain those, the houses would fall more often. But granted, now, well, while you build all the houses in all bricks to prevent dangers from tornado and all that stuff, earthquake is a different story. So now, it's the catch-22 situation. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you do it like this, you'll get hurt just about every season. But every once in a while, the earthquake that comes might basically kill everybody.
Well, now they have those earthquake bricks that they're using in California now. And they're designed specifically to keep the house from falling apart. It's basically kind of like a type of puzzle piece. but it's brick. So you've got, you know, the protection of the brick, plus you've got
like interlocks,
the interlock so that they don't fall apart as easily. Now, mind you, what happened was they built them with the bricks and then they didn't do anything special with the roofs. And so with the last hurricane, or with the last earthquake in California that I was familiar with, a lot of the roofs collapsed, but the buildings didn't.
Oh, okay.
The newer ones.
Well,
Am I totally off base there, Aaron?
I've never heard of earthquake bricks, so I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we're just finding out about it now, I'm pretty sure Haiti probably don't know about it, and affording it is probably another story.
No. But I mean, since then, I don't know when they were created. Let me. I'll look that up while you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I was just going to say it must be the same for the Dominican Republic, right? They share the same island.
They do share the same island. The thing is, they're further north of Haiti, in the north part of Haiti.
The disasters don't hit them as hard.
Most of the issues happen around the west area where the capital is. So, like, there's a part of Haiti that remain untouched, and that's the part that's connected to the Dominican Republic. So yeah, I mean, if something happened to the whole island, yeah, you know, Dominicans and Haitians are in trouble. But yeah, but they do get the hurricanes, they do get the tornadoes that we get to, because we're all right there in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, sharing the same land, right?
Yeah, the tropical tempests.
I wonder why it is there's so many Dominican baseball players and not Haitian baseball players.
Haitians, I don't know, for some reason, Haitians are more geared towards soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah, and some basketball. Not, but I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if there's any Haitian Haitian baseball players out.
Yeah, I don't think
my little brother is a sports journalist. I'd have to ask him about that.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of the best baseball players in the world are from the Dominican Republic, which is a tiny little part of an island.
Yeah,
and the rest of the island doesn't produce any baseball players. It's curious.
That is a phenomenon. That's weird, you know. But the Dominican team, it is a very good, like the World Baseball Classic. I don't know if Haiti had an entry into that or not.
Probably not that big, but well, the thing is, there are two different cultures too. So, like, you know,
Spanish and French.
Yeah, Spain occupied the French and the Spanish. They had the island, and you know, they agreed and split into the two. So Spain probably brought a whole bunch of different stuff to the Dominican Republic, while the French did other things. Now, of course, the Haitians had to kick the French out quite early, so there's a lot of our culture that is just derived from what we already learned while we were with them and from Africa. You know, because a lot of Haitians came directly from Africa, so that culture is a mixture of the French and the African culture that sort of made it what we have as a culture, and the different sports that we play, the things that we are sort of interested in. I mean, even our food are slightly different, and we live right there, but we do both types because, you know, it's not that far from each other.
Yeah, food's different, language is different.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, a lot of Haitians nowadays, that's in the past 10 years, they take English more seriously before they come to America. They would take classes and all that stuff. But before then, because the Dominican Republic was more reachable to travel and things like that, Spanish is what, you know, a lot of Haitians just speak Spanish because that's right there. If they need to go on vacation outside of the country, they just cross the border. But lately, because the Haitians have been going a lot further, and English is really the most spoken language, other than Mandarin, because of the amount of people. But so, yeah, because of that, Haitians have been taking English a lot more seriously. So when they do travel, they're able to at least communicate a little bit when it comes to English.
Now, have you visited Haiti frequently? I mean, do you go back to Haiti occasionally?
Yeah, I do go quite often. As a matter of fact, my father just moved back there, so it's a little easier to go back. My mother's actually retired too, and she's planning on going back as well. But even before that, I would go every couple of years. I still have cousins there. I still have a lot of siblings. Not my direct siblings, but a lot of cousins and extended family. Still there. A lot of them are trying, if they're done with school, they're trying to travel the world, just do something other than just being stuck in one area that might not be catering to what they've studied or in life. So it's a little tough out there, though.
Yeah. So Lisa found her interlocking seismic. What do they call it?
Well, they're not interlocking. They're porotherm seismic clay bricks.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just it's sinus season. Yeah, they're well suited for earthquake prone areas. The only thing is it might not be it's a specially shaped vertical mortar pockets with a unique mortar window that forms a tooth connection between the block and the mortar in the butt joint. This creates an excellent bond with the mortar and increases mechanical strength. The only problem is that they're kind of porous, and apparently they can be subject to salt attacks.
Okay.
Number one, so you can see the problem with being an island. And number two, the other issue that could come up is you can't build you couldn't build a skyscraper.
Oh, I see.
But it should be good for homes that aren't too close to the shore.
Okay.
I guess.
Getting back to Haiti a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
No, that's fine.
It's sort of, I mean, can't use the bricks there, we just found out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you might be able to. I don't know how serious the salt issue is. And as long as they're not too close to the ocean, the water shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Well, I did see that the earthquake was a catalyst for an update of the building codes in Haiti. So it makes me wonder, is it a hotbed? I mean, like we know California earthquakes are ever present or ever possible. Is Haiti similar in that is it prone?
I mean, is it on a fault line? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Not usually. I mean, I spent a great part of my life there. Hardly I can remember any earthquake. As a matter of fact, any generation after me, because I was born in the 80s, any generation after me never knew anything about earthquake.
Right.
So yeah, I think when I was younger, I may have felt like a little jiggle something here and then. They said that was an earthquake. It was a tiny one you kind of felt. And I remember it vividly because it's the first time we ever felt anything like it. And that was the last time. I was probably maybe 10 years old, something like that nature. And that was it. But it's not something Haitian. And I think that's one of the reasons why it killed so many people, because a lot of people didn't realize what was happening. To them, it was just a strong wind. And sometimes when there's a strong wind, the trees shake and
yeah.
But so exactly. So they kind of felt like maybe that was the case. It's just a little stronger, but nobody in especially that generation 90s and up generation they had no idea what that was, because that's something that they've heard or read about it. It happens other places, but
until it happens to you,
experiencing it is a whole different ball game.
Yeah. I recall two different earthquakes that I've experienced in Cincinnati. Aaron, I think you lived in Cincinnati when one of them happened.
I remember one of them, yeah.
At least.
I get them all the time here in Southern California.
Yeah.
It does look like Haiti is between two tectonic plates, the North American plate and the Caribbean plate.
So it's not actually a fault line situation.
It's on two major faults.
Yeah. Okay. Lucky Haiti.
Huh. Well, that's it was a devastating event, and it drives home. You think the other side of the world is not, that's not in your orbit or something like that.
That's not really the other side of the world.
No, that's a good point.
No. Right? Caribbean, yeah.
Right.
We get provincial in our thinking.
We've been to the Caribbean.
We get provincial in our thinking, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's like when you saw the devastation and everything from that event, it really,
it drives home the possibilities.
Yeah.
Whenever we observe something of that nature, I think about the fact that he works so far away from our house. And it's really not that far if you ask Aaron. Yeah, right. But for us, it's kind of far.
Like 5 miles away.
It's a 20-minute drive.
Sometimes it rains.
Well, Phil drives like an old lady.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yes, I do. And
he's even been known to kiss the curb occasionally.
I ride like an old lady, even.
But yeah,
I did. I had a little fender bender the other day.
Worse than
But he doesn't live very far away.
No, but it's 20 minutes, and if something were to happen and he couldn't use the car, how would he get to the house?
Yeah.
All right, Pete. Alfred Hitchcock had Tippi Hedren. Tarantino has Uma Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like Marjorie Barboza. Yeah. This is your opportunity to brag about your crew and your acting. Your actors, and are they actors that
participants
that show up in a lot of your work, or have you kind of used different sets of actors and creative people for your
one of them actually, he shows up. Actually, the one who's on this poster right now, right behind me, he shows up in a lot of my work than most other people that I've used in the past. So the thing is, I met him on a set in New York, and he was so interesting. We just started to have this conversation about film and all that stuff. And I told him I was working on a project, and that wasn't this movie yet. It was a short film, which actually happened to win like 2 different awards just this past month. And that movie was made a little while.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead. What was the name of that film?
Subject to Retaliation. They're on YouTube. Subject to Retaliation, and there's another one called Indemnification Claim. So those 2 short films, and he appeared in both of them. So when I met him, and he was so interesting, and he wanted to be in projects. So I was filming in Connecticut, and he was more than happy to drive. It was maybe a couple-hour drive. He came, showed up on time, and as soon as I told him about this Lupeo project, I called him and told him I'm working on this project, but I need somebody to go to Haiti with me. And he said, I'm down. I'm like, are you sure? Because I know he's SAG, and there's a lot of things that go into it. He's like, I'll talk to him, don't worry about it. And he was more than happy to travel down there. And all they told him, which I didn't know because I probably wouldn't let them take the risk, but they told him that he can't be insured when he's down there because it's out of a different country. It's a whole different pile of money I'd have to pay them in order for him to qualify. So it's a whole lot more into it. But he's like, no, don't worry about it. He'll come and get it done. So I'm glad that he was able to come. His performance is always there. He's always dedicated and always ready to go. Marjorie, she was also in the forefront, and she was able to travel to Florida to film, and she just one of those people. She's ready to get it done, and she'll go overboard and to do whatever it takes to make sure. And we'll even if I need to take it like 5, 10, 16 times to get what I need, she's more than happy to jump on it. We also have Lupeo, who was more than happy to jump. These are like the main characters. Lupeo, Marjorie's husband in the movie. Mm-hmm. He was able to travel as well from New York to get it done. And those guys were very, very, very dedicated to get it done. And because of the story, and some of them, granted, Marjorie is from Senegal, and a couple of the other guys came from Haiti, and then we have people who came from other places who just never don't know much about Haiti. And prior the earthquake, had no idea if Haiti was a country or that even existed. But as soon as they heard about the storyline, they were more than happy. They wanted to be part of the project, and I was so grateful to have that.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Now I wanted to say here that the child actors, the children,
yes,
they were on point.
They were good.
They were really good.
They were, and actually some of them I'm still working with right now. He's a big guy now, but some of them I'm still working with because they've grown up, but they just they're like some of the best people that I've met in the industry right now. Who's willing to do it. Like there's Donnie, who's in there. He's the one boy between all the girls. Yeah, him and he's the only boy. He's not the only boy.
No, there was the older boy from the lady that brought her kids over.
Yes, him.
There were two boys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the two boys.
Yeah, she let me ask you, was there supposed to be when he picked up the children from her house?
Yes.
Was she flirting with him?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, she tends to flirt with him quite a bit, and he tries to ignore it and all that stuff. And when we were talking about the story, I was writing the movie, and I told him that. So I want to put it in there. He's like, yo, make sure you talk to my wife first. I want to make sure, she doesn't get any surprises. But she sort of get the idea, but I guess they didn't realize it was going to be a major part. But I wanted to add that to it just to, to create a separate story in case we wanted to, tell that story. But
right.
But we wanted to at least a little bit. But yeah,
he obviously was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Remember, she made a point of saying, my husband's not here.
Yeah, my husband's out of town again. He'll be gone for a while.
Yeah. That was funny.
And then I found the moment. I didn't realize the poignance of the moment when the gentleman in Haiti was putting the ribbons in his daughter's hair. That was
because the mom is not around. I think she passed away at birth, I believe. And so he basically does all these things for his daughter. And when we spoke to him again, because he had just lost his daughter, and so now he's alone. He wanted to let us know and realize, he can do all that stuff and make sure that the person who's gonna play him can do these things, so it doesn't look fake. And so he could do it because this actor, he has a daughter himself.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is when his daughter was watching the movie with him, she cried and she's like, oh my goodness, she kind of felt like, okay, this other girl is calling him dad, and it was very a moving moment for them too as they watched it. So it was one of those things. And of course, if you ask him, he'll tell you he pulled from having his own daughter to then playing his daughter, not having her around anymore, so to really create the emotion that we're looking for and truly really get to that.
I can just imagine that after filming the scene where he finds his child, that he probably had the intense urge to go home and hug his daughter.
Oh yeah. Except he had to wait
and not let her go for 3 days.
Oh yeah, definitely. They had
like, I'll go to the bathroom with you, hon. Just
I'll be ready.
Even on the set, you can see that, when we came in, the whole set is set up. Sun is like, it's hot, and we had to stop a few times to reshoot because it's hot, it's very hot. So it's in the middle of the day. This little girl's laying down on the ground, covered by all these things, and she's hot, sweating like crazy. We had to get them to wipe her just about every second. And then he would get in that moment, seeing the little girl, and then the little girl is about his daughter's age, and it was just heartbreaking. So we would just take a break, let him take a deep breath, and then get into character and come back at it again. But
because that was such a, whoever did the makeup did a great job.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, a lot of the crew members, we hired them from Haiti because we did, instead of traveling with everybody, we just took a few people, camera guys and all that stuff. But everybody else, we got them from down there just to not only, get a little.
Sure, they're happy to have the money.
Little job, but they were more than happy to. Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. They came in when we said we needed a crew. They didn't think we were gonna pay because apparently people have gone down there and used them and they don't pay them. People, like filming, but they were more than they just wanted to be part of the story. They just want to be in the story and just contribute to whatever it is that's happening, whatever happens next. So, when we fed them, we give them, we pay them, and they're like, oh, really? Okay, great thing. They were just
okay, I'm even happier now.
Yeah, exactly. So
I actually got paid.
Because some of them,
that's awful.
It's always a nice payoff, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And the thing, we tried to do everything we had, we sort of left it with them. And a lot of them were victim of the earthquake and hadn't really had consistent meals. So when they were coming for weeks straight, every day, eating a meal at least twice a day, from breakfast and lunch, because by the time we were done, because it's so hot, we try to take a long break and then continue again in the afternoon. They were more than happy to just come around. And when we said we're done, they're like, "Are you sure you don't want to take more?" Like, no.
You fed them and you paid them?
Yeah.
What are you thinking there?
It sounds like you couldn't have had a better crew if you'd have brought one with you anyway.
So. Yeah.
You couldn't, because even my crew here, you have to tell them, okay, it's time to stop eating. We have to go actually back in the same.
I got my break,
Oh, yeah. All right. But I think people in America are more entitled because, especially when you're dealing with SAG actors, they have all these rules that you have to follow. Understandable, because that way you don't mistreat your actors. But at the end of the day, some of them actually get a little too spoiled and they get upset and they get angry if we have to take one more shot, because if we have to reset all the cameras and all that stuff, let's take this one more shot just before we do all that stuff. And then you can take a break while we're moving our cameras. But they just
there's the labor laws in America that are fairly strict. Yeah. One time I had a manager in a meeting. She said, well, we're going to need to ask you to take, if you need to go to the restroom, go on your break.
Oh, yeah.
And I started laughing. And I'm like, Gail,
that's
what you just said is illegal.
Right. So
that breaks labor laws.
Well, I'm sure these.
And ever since then, I absolutely refuse to go to the restroom on break.
I mean, I understand that, because the thing is, why would I want to? If I have 30 minutes, why would I want to spend that in the bathroom?
Well, it's not even that. Up to that point, I often did.
Yeah.
But
because you were in there reading.
But then she made me mad.
After she said that, you made it a point to never.
Right.
I understand that. I would have. It's something I would do too.
But I'm sure they were emotionally vested in the story, and that probably, I'm sure that that manifested in more of a passion project. Everybody involved.
So not only were they emotionally invested in the story, but they got food and money.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the fact that when we're doing certain scenes, they were very familiar with, or some of them were part of. They were more than happy, and I would ask them, so does that seem familiar to you? And they're like, oh yeah, or you might want this one. So they would give me some notes of certain things that would help, and it absolutely helped the story too, because
made it more authentic.
They were there, so you can't say no, I don't want your notes.
Right.
So it definitely helped out quite a bit, and I enjoyed it.
And just watching her collapse to the floor.
That was
it's like, oh my God.
That resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Also, talking about setting the mood, and we're music people, right? We do music. There was a single in it. I think it was called "Why Me."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a very emotional.
My youngest brother is a singer, and he's the one who sung that song.
Oh, okay.
When I told him about the story, he went in the booth and recorded that for me. And when I heard it, I just like, okay, thank you. That's the one right there, because it speaks so much to what Haitians were feeling at that time point. Because it's one thing to have your own little issues on a daily basis. It's another thing when something comes your way that you didn't expect and it hits you so hard, right when you're in the middle of your issues already. It's like, beating a man, kicking a man while he's down type of situation. And Haitians felt like that quite a bit, especially around that time. And that's where the name Lupeo came from. It's a Greek term to say to be put in a situation without asking for it.
Aaron?
I just said
Oh, okay. I know that sometimes you and pause and speak, and I'll speak over you, and that, so I'm trying to be more cognizant
in that adorable Lisa way.
Okay, shut up.
No problem.
But you got the floor right now, sweetie.
Did you have to like bribe anyone? Did the Haitian government have any issues, or did you kind of do guerrilla filming and not tell them?
All right. I did ask for permission for certain places and paid to film certain areas, but I still had to bribe a couple of people. So for example, we're filming and this guy, he's like, okay, actually by the airport. We filmed a few places that were you have to get permission from the government. So we got those licenses; they were fine. But the manager who's actually showing you, they don't care about the deal you made or you license you pay. They're basically waiting for their part. Exactly. So and at first I didn't realize what one of them was asking, but I do have a few friends who live down there who came with me and they said, "Oh yeah, he's asking for money," so you had to give them something in order for them to just allow you to use it, even if you could, but it would have been a headache trying to deal with them, being there all the time or pushing or so the fact that you sort of take care of them, they sort of keep people out of your way and make sure they're a little more happier that way. And I sort of foreseen that happening, just didn't realize it was going to happen so much. But yeah, you definitely had to bribe a few people to make sure. And one of them actually did, because he's been around when other people from different countries come and film movies over there, and they sort of pushed them aside. So one of them was really upset and he was angry, trying to, sort of a little protest. So I went and talked to him. I'm like, well, I'm Haitian, and I'm just trying to do this to, help Haiti and just at least show a different side of what happened from what everybody saw in the news and things like that. He's like, yeah, but you guys just come down here, you do your stuff, and you get up and leave Haiti in the dirt, blah blah blah. So basically, so it's sort of a resentment type of feeling, and we get it because a lot of people. I watched a lot of movies in here, and some of them were part of it were filmed in Haiti, and I can see that's what they're talking about because nobody even know, and that's why I like Wakanda Forever, because they sort of acknowledge not only a nice side of Haiti, but acknowledge that Haiti is part of the whole thing. Because sometimes when I see it in movies, I just recognize it as opposed to them saying this is where it's happening, or unless they're talking about something negative and all that stuff. And we know there's negative stuff all everywhere. It's just a matter of, we need a break every now and then. So if we're only being seen or feel like we're only being seen when in a bad light, it's not a good feeling. And so when I spoke to him, he sort of understood, and he didn't interrupt, but he just basically spoke his mind, and I got it.
Well, you probably seen it before by maybe a rogue,
like you said,
that director came down there and kind of left a mess.
Like you said, people have worked there and not paid.
Yeah.
The actors and the people who actually worked for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, they would come and help because, there's a stranger coming. He may have some money. Maybe if I help him with this and that, move things around, he'll leave something in my hand. And that's a lot of them. That's how they really make some change. And you don't know their life at home. They might have kids or, other people that they're trying to feed. Them out there on the street trying to make some change without having to rob somebody. That might be a good way. But then sometimes they leave them hanging and they get very angry about it. So.
I don't blame
them. Did you have to put up money to make this yourself, or did you get some sort of funding?
Oh yeah, this one was all me. Yeah.
All you. Wow.
This one was all me. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot out of pocket.
Yeah, it was, and that's why when after I made the movie, I couldn't find a distributor right away. It really took a toll on my finances. But after it was all done, I just put it on the shelf while I was still trying to see who I can find. The movie was made in 2015.
Okay.
It just came out last year.
So
it's been on the shelf for that long.
Was it released in theaters?
No, it was originally in local theater in Atlanta.
Okay. As long as it's shown in a theater, you can put it up for the Academy.
Yeah, and that's what I was hoping for, but it didn't have that many views in theater because they said there's a number of amount of people that has to see it.
Oh, okay.
You have to sell so many tickets.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't because like I said, the money was low at that point, so I was just trying to see what I can do to get it out there. Of course, I try to announce it different places, social media, and all that stuff. People say congratulations, but nobody wants to see it. Just full people went to see it, and some of the family members of the actors. But then when I finally got the distribution company Adler and Associates, they reached out to me and they said, "We saw the trailer. It's a nice movie. I'd like to distribute it for you." I said, "Really? Let's talk." So
yeah. So we should say it's on Amazon, but it's not. You have to purchase it. You have to rent it or purchase it to see it.
Yeah, how much was it?
Well, I don't think
we didn't pay attention.
Yeah,
I think it's $1.99 or something.
$1.90. Okay, so
that's not bad.
Yeah, it was. But it is available on Amazon. We'll give you a chance to do your socials and stuff here in a second as we wind down here. I guess my final question would be, let's see. What message do you hope viewers take from the film? I mean, what kind of ultimate message do you think viewers would take from the film?
Well, I just want to for people, I just want them to understand that although this family went through all this sort of within themselves, but although the country, the lesson is that although the country went through all this, but each one of those people that were in Haiti who suffered through this had other family on the other side of the world who were also suffering just in a different way. So basically, for them to understand that, okay, Haiti has its fault, Haiti has the other thing, but people in Haiti are survivors. They try to survive and try to make it out as much as possible. Sometimes they might just need a ring, they might just need a helping hand here and there, but not to feel like, okay, yeah, they don't deserve what comes to them. But because we all have ups and downs everywhere we are. It's just a matter of really finding that one person to say, okay, yeah, I care. Let's see what we can do to help you with the strength that you have to make it happen. And I'm glad that. And one of the main thing I enjoy about the movie is the way the two families here in America sort of supported each other. Whether it was just by visiting and talk to them and all that stuff, just to let them know you have a friend next door. Right. If you do need a shoulder to cry on, just let me know. But we'll do whatever we can to support. Basically, let's support each other one way or another, family or friends.
Yeah, and I feel like the way you filmed it, showing the day and how they were going through their day and everything was perfectly normal, and all of a sudden the world fell apart. And it was very humanizing. Sometimes when you're watching the news, it can be easy to I know that I personally, when I watch the news, have to emotionally distance myself from what's going on because it's so horrible that I don't want to know that. I kind of wish the news didn't exist because he's going to turn it on.
We stopped watching the news in 2002 in my house.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually canceled CNN myself a few years ago because it was just too much. It's too devastating, just
too polarizing.
Yeah.
Take a side, all this bullshit.
Or it's just bad news.
Yeah, it's just This person
I didn't need to know that
shot.
a baby was found in a dumpster or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
right. And it had been drowned and stabbed. It's like, no, just stop.
Yeah, more details at 11.
Honestly, you basically said my daughter, who's 9 now, a couple of years ago, before we canceled it, we'll be sitting there watching the news, and she would be like, she would want to do something like, oh, give me a second, I'm just watching the news. She's like, oh, this is not news. This is always bad news. It's never good news. So you would assume they call it news, you would have both sides, but news is only bad news.
Yeah. Right. Well, the good news is always tucked there at the end between the weather and the sports. Got a little human interest story there.
That's the only thing that can actually
right before they say goodnight. Yeah, you'll have 30 seconds of something light.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this story recently about this woman who this 14-year-old girl was giving birth to triplets, and she was alone. Okay. And this nurse followed up with her because, she was concerned. And she gave her phone number and told her, call me if you need something. And one day the girl calls her and tells her that her foster situation is untenable. And they're talking about taking the babies away from her. And she's 14. She's got like a part-time job. She's trying to do school and she's trying to raise triplets. This woman decided to foster her. And a year later, she adopted 4 daughters. That's what I want to see on the news.
That would be nice, yes.
Yeah, if they have even one story like that makes the national news every night, I would actually consider watching the news.
The ratio is still too bad.
It is. I don't disagree with you, Aaron, but I'd consider it.
It's just somebody vomiting in your ears for a half hour.
Basically, I get my news from Comedy Central.
Well, Aaron, do you have any last questions?
No, I asked them as they came up, I think. Best wishes. I haven't seen the film yet myself, but I plan to. I'll shell out that $1.99.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it was moving. Very moving.
I did watch the trailer, and even the trailer was moving, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. I have
all right, that would be great.
Baseball games this week.
I understand. It's no problem.
His grandchildren have baseball games.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
he has grandchildren.
I don't play Little League baseball myself. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, sweetie?
Yeah, they're a little suspicious of the beard and mustache, but they let him play anyway.
It's because he throws a big groovy fastball right down the middle of the plate. Gets clobbered. All right, Lisa. Words for Pete.
If you know of some legitimate charities that you could hook us up with, we could Philip could put that in the notes.
Let us know and we'll link to it in the show notes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
if you know of one good one, or if you could just say it.
Yeah.
From the top of my head, not exactly, but there are a couple that I was working with, and there were some slow movements in the past year. I'm not sure if they're still running, so I'm gonna have to check on that to make sure. So give me a couple of days. I'll email it to you.
If you can get us a good link or two, we'll publish them.
Yeah. So the movie is Lupeo, and so.
What does Lupeo mean?
It's Greek for being thrust into a situation without your desire or control, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Basically,
earlier.
Like you didn't do anything to get there, but for some reason they feel like you deserve it, or you just to be pushed into suffering without asking.
Any socials? Any? We mentioned it's on Amazon. Any socials?
It's on Amazon or Prime Video. If you just tap Lupeo, it should come up. It's also on Vimeo. If you type on there, and I think it's also $1.99 on there. It's not too bad. We're all working on trying to get on Peacock, but we haven't heard the word yet. So far it's just on those two for now. My social media, if you check on that, you'll find a lot of information about it. It's at Official PA Films. At Official PA Films. That is on both Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can see some of my other work. But yeah, so Twitter, all the social media. I don't have TikToks yet. I'm still trying to understand how that works. But until then.
All right. Well, Lupeo, it's been
by the time
great.
we figure it out, it'll be banned. Don't worry about it.
I know.
I know, right? We have social.
Twitter.
Yeah, pod.
Instagram.
Yeah, pod.
Facebook.
Yeah, pod.
Website.
www.YEAH-UH-HUH.com. So let us know. Hit us back. Have a great week.